So in this tutorial we'll be learning text manipulation, and in that regard we'll be using this word mark for our tutorial. I found it on Pinterest and learned how to create it and thought of sharing the process with you guys. So let's first of all turn off the visibility of this. Then we'll activate our text tool by coming to the text tool panel. You can also do that by pressing T on the keyboard to activate the type tool. So we'll type out 1. Okay. And with the help of the transform tool, we can enlarge it here, something like this. So I'll be using Poppins for the font type. I'll be using extra bold. I think this is nice. And yeah, for the one on the thumbnail I used Montserrat. I'm only trying out the Poppins, so you can use Montserrat too if you want. So we have something like this. The next thing we'll do is to reduce the tracking between each text, that is the spacing in between each text. So we'll head to our properties panel and ensure that we reduce the tracking to a very low value. So for this one I'll reduce it to -150. So the spacing in between the text has been reduced. What I'll do next is to convert the text into a shape. So I'm going to right click on that layer, convert to shape. We have something like this now. We'll then bring up the path selection tool. So go here, that is on the tools panel, you'll find this. Then you right click and you choose your path selection tool. You could have done that by using the keyboard shortcut A. So now that we have something like this, I'm going to press enter to deselect and then click on E to select just E. So once it's selected, you have these small squares around it. So what I'm going to do next is to move it to the left. I'll hold down shift whilst pressing the left arrow key so that it moves fast. Once it gets here, I'll stop. I'll now shift to the direct selection tool by pressing shift A to switch to it. I'll now drag on this side, and whilst holding down shift, I'll press on the right arrow key to elongate it to the right hand side. So we now have something like this. I'll press enter and bring up the pen tool. So I'll press P on the keyboard. If you don't like the cross hairline, because you off your caps lock. So what I'm going to do is to make a diagonal shape selection. So let me ensure that my pen tool is on path and not shape. So I'm just going to make this diagonal selection. Let me start from this side. And we are good to go. Once you have something like this, you press Ctrl Enter to select that side. So what we are going to do next is to mask it. So you hold down Alt. We are going to invert mask. You hold down Alt and then click on the mask icon. So that side of the E has been cut off. What we are going to do next is to go for our path selection tool once again. So we'll go over here, right click and choose path selection tool. This time we are selecting O. So we'll select O, and with the help of our shift key, I'll shift it towards what? So I'll shift it towards the right. So until we get something like this. So let me zoom in. Until you have something like this, then you stop. So what I'm going to do next is to, whilst the O is still selected, I'll head straight to the layer, and whilst holding down Control, I will click on the layer thumbnail. to select the O. So I now have something like this. I'll now invert the selection. So I'll go to select, inverse, to invert the whole selection. Once you have it inverted, the whole canvas is selected. That allows you to what? Make an effect to the something outside the main selection. So I'm going to bring out my brush tool and I'll reduce the size. I'll right click to bring up the brush properties and then go for the hard round brush. Now these are hard round brush here, so I'll reduce the size, and you can do that with the open bracket and then the close bracket. So the open bracket reduces the size of the brush, open bracket, close bracket increases it. So I'm going to clean this area, go here and clean this area too. So once I'm done, I'll press Ctrl D to deselect and go for my move tool and press enter. So let me zoom out so that we'll see what's happening right now. So this is what we've gotten so far. So we'll go for our path selection tool once again. Go for our path selection tool. You can do that by pressing A as a shortcut, and this time around we are selecting N. So ensure that that layer is selected, then we'll select N this time around. We are going to duplicate it by pressing Ctrl J. So once you have it duplicated, it will look something like this. Then we'll turn off the copy layer, then come to the original. What we are going to do next is to select it once again, the N once again. Then this time we'll head to the layers panel. Whilst holding down Ctrl, we'll select the layer thumbnail. So we'll have something like this. You head to select, modify, expand. So I can reduce this value to 27. You experiment with it until you achieve size you want, something like this. So I think I'm okay with this, so I'll just head back to it, the mask, and go for my brush and clean out the areas I don't want. So I'm just going to clean. Let me reduce it a little perfect. You just have to click whilst holding down shift, then you click the opposite side. So you now have something like this. What I'm going to do next is to turn on the copied layer, and I'll deselect the selection. So we now have something like this. So we've been able to achieve this. We can group everything, but then let's bring up let's put the one there. So we'll bring out our type 2 once again, then we'll type 1 and enlarging it with the transform tool, the move tool here. So we'll go for our move tool and enlarging it. So we have something like this. Next thing we are going to do is to change the font type. I don't like how the one looks for Poppins, so I'll go for impact instead. So we have something like this. We are then going to arrange it on the O. So if you want, you can reduce the size. You can reduce the size up until how you want it to look like. So I think for me something like this is okay. Then you can group everything and convert to a smart object. And then we are done with it. So thanks very much for tuning in. This is the text manipulation, and please subscribe to the channel, put us on post notification, and give us a like if you enjoyed this video. There are also other videos on the channel, you can check them out. Thanks very much.